His Excellency Venu Rajmani, former Ambassador of India to the Netherlands and Professor of Diplomatic Practice, Mr. Ahmed Rais, President, Indian School Al Gubra and Chairman of E.A.MUNC, Mrs. Papri Ghosh, Principal, Indian School Al Gubra, faculty advisors of the 32 schools spread across 5 countries, Team E.A.MUNC, and esteemed delegates. A very good evening and a warm welcome to the valedictory function of the second virtual E.A.Ahmed Model United Nations Conference. I, Aditya Sharma, Vice Head Boy of Indian School Al Gubra and Secretary General of E.A.MUNC, am honored to serve as host of the ceremony. Let us begin the valedictory function with the closing remarks from the Director General, Shama Sushil Kumar, Mumbai.
Coming together is a beginning. Staying together is progress. And working together is success. Henry Ford. Good evening to all. 2021, a year in which countries across the globe continue to struggle to cope with the pandemic. Far too many lives have been lost. Economies are struggling to rebound, and health systems are scrambling to vaccinate people. Never in the history of the human race have we collectively experienced such difficult days. If there is one silver lining in this dark cloud, it is the fact that we are in it together. We have disregarded boundaries, set aside our differences to work together. This has resulted in us building an arsenal of vaccines in the short time span of a year to stop COVID-19 in its tracks. This brings us back to the foundations on which our society was built: unity. Working together with each other for each other is, after all, the true spirit of being human. That, in essence, is the philosophy on which E.A.Ahmed Model United Nations was conceived. The delegates have discussed in their committees the issues in great depth. Through extensive debate, the many perspectives and clashing interests have been examined and a consensus reached for the global good. We believe that global citizens are going to be the true flag bearers of the future. Delegates, whether you realize it or not, over the past 3 days, each one of you has taken a step in this direction, a step that will undoubtedly empower you. Unbreakable unity through crisis, the theme of our conference. I can say with full confidence that every committee showed unwavering unity as they deliberated on the crisis they were given to handle. Delegates, some of you will win awards tonight, but please remember that awards alone do not define you. In fact, it is immaterial. For as long as you have cherished this journey, learned something new, and made memories that will last a lifetime, each one of you is a winner. When you look back, it will not be the awards you won, but the knowledge, perspective, and experience you gained that would have impacted you for the rest of your life. To conclude, I would like to quote the words of Walter Reuther, which encapsulates the theme of the conference. There is no power in the world that can stop the forward march of free men and women when they are joined in the solidarity of human brotherhood. I hope these words resonate in your hearts forever, for the solutions we seek can only be found if we believe in the unity and brotherhood of the entire human race. Thank you.
A shared service to humanity, despite the differences among people, truly encapsulates the aim of E.A.MUNC. Our chief guest for this evening, His Excellency Venu Rajmani, is the former Ambassador of India to the Netherlands and has a 34-year-long career in diplomacy. He is also a professor of diplomatic practice at Jindal Global Law School. He is a value-driven, inspiring leader with strong intellectual capacity and extensive experience in government relations, advocacy, communication, media relations, to name a few. One of the many prestigious posts held by him was that of the press secretary to the former president of India, late Sri Pranab Mukherjee. He has authored much acclaimed books on India. It is indeed an honor to have His Excellency as the chief guest. May I request His Excellency Venu Rajmani to address the gathering.
Good evening, Mr. Rais Ahmed, the President of the Managing Committee of the Al Gubra School and son of Mr. E.A.MUNC, in whose name this model UN conference is being held. The Student Secretary General who is hosting this event, the Student Director General who spoke very eloquently just now, all the participants in this model UN conference and all the faculty and staff who have been preparing for this and have worked hard to make this event a great success. Let me begin by saying that I'm extremely happy to join this model UN conference, which is the second such virtual conference, but the sixth conference, I believe, being organized to mark and to remember the contributions of one of India's greatest sons, Mr. E.A.MUNC. I myself have been a diplomat who has attended many UN meetings. I served in the Indian mission to the UN in Geneva. I attended meetings in Geneva, in Washington, in New York, and till recently when I was ambassador in the Netherlands, I was also part of various activities relating to the International Court of Justice, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, and the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. So I have participated in events such as this. I have seen model UN conferences in many parts of the world, and I firmly believe that this is one of the best capacity building exercises, one of the best skill training that anybody can give to students. And I compliment the organizers for having systematically and regularly organized these conferences, for having brought together students, not just from various schools, but from various countries. And I have seen the topics which are being debated as part of this conference, and I truly compliment the organizers as well as every student who has participated in this entire exercise. As the Director General said, this is not just about winners. Of course, there are winners. Those who have performed very well will be felicitated, will be congratulated, and will be given awards and honors. But every one of you who have participated in this exercise is a winner, is a gainer. And I tell you with all my experience that what you learn here, what you acquire here, the friends that you make here will all stay with you forever in your lives. Let me briefly begin by saying a few words about Mr. Ahamed. Mr. E.A.MUNC, as many of you would know, was one of the tallest politicians that India has seen, and the state of Kerala, from which he came, has seen. He was elected to the Legislative Assembly 5 times, to the lower house of the Indian Parliament 7 times. He himself was a member of the Indian delegation to the United Nations 6 or 7 times, if I remember right, both in his capacity as a member of Parliament as well as a minister. And he is a person who is known not just for his contributions to foreign policy and international relations, but for his qualities of the mind and heart. For me, he was a mentor. He was like a father. I was always treated as one of his children, a member of the family. I got to know him for the first time when I met him during the UN General Assembly in New York. He had come as a representative of the Indian government, as a member of the Indian delegation and a member of Parliament. I was one of the officers on duty. But since then, we went on to keep in close touch with each other through my postings in Washington, D.C., in Dubai, in Delhi when I was working with the president. And I was there in Delhi when he sadly passed away, and I was one of the few who was honored to be able to pay respects to him. I also only recently, earlier this year, had the occasion to visit Calicut in the north of Kerala and deliver a memorial lecture in his honor. So there can be no better commemoration of him, his contributions, his memory than organizing a model UN conference such as this. I compliment Mr. Ahamed and all members of his family, as well as everybody associated with this series of model UN conferences for organizing it in such an elaborate manner, for steadily growing it, and for keeping it going every single year. I would like to thank them for inviting me here today and assure them of my support at all times. To the students, let me tell you that you must learn from inspiring figures like Mr. E.A.MUNC, and you must all, not just during this exercise, but throughout your life, maintain a lively interest in international affairs. I have only a few weeks back been part of a week-long series of interviews of young officers for very high positions in the Indian government. And what struck me during that interview process is how important world affairs and international affairs has become to the discourse in India, how every second question, not just from me, but every one of the members of the interview board pertained to world affairs, and how impressed we were with candidates who showed good knowledge, good analytical ability, good grasp of the complex issues that confront our world today, and also candidates who were able to articulate their thoughts in clear, coherent, precise language with a sense of empathy, with a sense of compassion, and with idealism and determination with regard to the need to change the world. This is what the model UN trains you and equips you with. And I think every one of the candidates that I interviewed, the best candidates were all people who participated in model UN exercises like this, people who participated in debates and acquired debating skills, people who were part of quiz competitions, and all these extracurricular activities. So the first and foremost advice, if I can so call it, I would like to give all the young participants in this exercise, all those who are listening to this, is to say, please, you must study well, you must acquire knowledge in classrooms, but what you do outside the classrooms is equally important, if not more important. And more than anything else, please acquire a habit of following the news, of reading newspapers, of reading news on the internet, if you want so, or on the television, but keep abreast of what is happening all around you in your own community, in your own country, and in the world around you, because we are all global citizens today. As was mentioned just now by the Director General, this exercise builds global citizens. This is one of the first steps that all of you have in your transformation to becoming global citizens. But when you say global citizen, it reflects not just your approach to the world, but also the fact that everything that happens around you influences you, affects your life. The best example, the most classic example is indeed COVID-19. It emerged, a virus which emerged in China has now spread all across the world. Many variations have emerged. It has affected every single human being, every society, every country, every community across the world. It has crippled us in many ways in economic terms, as well as health terms. There are many people who were very close to us whom we have sadly lost because of this pandemic, and the world is still struggling to come out of it. So the pandemic is the best example of how we are all bound together, and how something which happens in one remote corner of the world can come and affect your life very deeply, very intensely. Today, if we look at the world, I would like all of you young people to have both a confidence that you can change the world and a determination to work hard to change that world. But at the same time, I would like to tell you, or I would like to caution you that there are huge challenges that confront the world. Yes, we have developed vaccines to deal with the COVID-19, but there is huge vaccine inequality in the world. The rich countries, some countries are going on to third vaccines for each of their citizens, while poor countries in Africa haven't even been able to vaccinate 1% of their population. Our world is marked by inequity more than 7 decades after the creation of the United Nations. And that is a sad description of the state of world affairs and our failure to do much better. The United Nations was created to stop wars, to end wars forever. It advocated the philosophy of freedom from fear as well as freedom from want. There should be full protection of human rights for everyone. At the same time, we should be able to meet the minimum requirements of food, shelter, and clothing, good health, good education for everyone. All the sustainable development goals, the Millennium Development Goals about which you would have heard. The world still has a long way to go on both fronts. We still have a long way to go to prevent wars, to end conflict, to end discrimination, to prevent abuses of human rights. We also have a long way to go to address the needs of the poorest of the poor in the world. So this should become one of the most important challenges for each one of you. And I hope you can. It is not easy. I am, as an elderly person who has seen the world and who has been part of the UN, I know that. But still, with the energy and the enthusiasm that each one of you bring, I'm confident that we can make a big transformation in the world. So in the coming days, the world has to address vaccine inequality. COVID-19 also brought about nationalisms, with countries throwing up barriers, not permitting people to travel from one country to the other, airlines halting, air traffic stopping, road traffic stopping, people hoarding commodities in their own countries. There was a scramble for who could grab the resources the best. All this is wrong. All this is bad. We must work collectively through the United Nations, through the World Health Organization, to provide challenges for problems like COVID-19. So we have war, we have conflict, we have human rights abuses, we have poverty, we have deprivation, we have the pandemics, and we also have environmental disasters. Now, all of you would have been reading about the hurricane which hit the US, the floods in New York and New Jersey, the forest fires in California. We in India have been beset by many floods this year. Even now, there is heavy rain happening, which has flooded Delhi yesterday, one of the highest rainfalls that has ever happened. And all this, according to experts, experts believe that all this is happening because of climate change, because we, the people who have inherited a beautiful earth, have not done enough to sustain it, have not done enough to nurture it. We have been polluting the air, we have been polluting the waters. And unless we stop doing this, the heat levels in the world will keep growing. There will be a hole in the ozone layer. Because of the growing climate change, there will be extreme climatic events. The glaciers in the Himalayas are melting. The icebergs in the Arctic Circle and in Antarctica are melting. So the world is rapidly moving towards a major climate crisis, which we must address with all our abilities, with all the knowledge and passion that we can gather to ourselves. So I tell all this not to merely paint a negative picture, but to urge you and to inspire you to come out and do your best. Do not make the unity amongst all of you, the belief in collective solutions, just something which takes place during a model UN. This is not something you should remember for 3 days and then forget it the day after. You must make it a part of your inner being. You must make it a part of your consciousness, of your constant thinking. We human beings have tremendous capacity for good. If you look at human history, if you look at the course of civilization, if you just look at what we have achieved since the establishment of the UN, since decolonization and the large majority of the countries became free and independent and started governing their own affairs, you will see that the world has made tremendous progress. Science is advancing today at such a pace that it would have been unbelievable even 5 years back or 10 years back. Just the fact that I, sitting here in Delhi, am able to use technology and address each one of you, and you can, people from any part of the world can come together and listen to what I am saying, can watch you perform in the Model UN, shows the power of technology and what is at our command. Technology can be used for good. Technology can be used for bad, but we must firmly grasp technology. We must firmly grasp science. We must always think rationally. We must apply our mind to the problems around us. And if we are willing to do that, and if we keep within our hearts and minds the deep belief that all human beings are one. It doesn't matter what their religion is, it doesn't matter what their color is, it doesn't matter where they come from, what language they speak, what culture they belong to, or what clothes they wear. Ultimately, all human beings are the children of God. We have the same God in all of us, and it is the same God that infuses the whole world and the whole universe. So together, our unity is not something artificial. It is something deep down within our inner souls, and we must tap into that unity, and we must gather all the courage that we have, all the energy that we have, all the intelligence we have, and use the best of science, use the best of technology to create a brave new world. Let this be your goal. Let this be your aspiration. Let this be your ideal. I once again compliment each and every one of you who has participated in this exercise. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot from this exercise. And I hope you will keep this always in your mind as you go forth into the world and launch yourself into new lives and new careers. Thank you very much. I wish each and every one of you the very best. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir, for sharing with us your enriching thoughts and experiences. Let us now watch a video which captures the memorable glimpses of E.A.MUNC 2021.
We are extremely pleased to have you all for the E.A.MUNC Model United Nations Conference, which is the 6th edition held at Indian School Al Gubra in the Sultanate of Oman. Truly, today's conference is international. The participants are from all over the world and from different schools. Also, the organizers, some of them are based in Dubai, some of them India, and the rest in Oman. We are sure that you're going to have a good time, enjoy, and there is a lot to take away from this conference. So we look forward to seeing you. Enjoy this conference.
I, Kshama Sushil Kumar Mumbai, the head girl of this school and Director General for the conference, I'm delighted to host the opening ceremony.
We, humans, have always shown the ability and the willingness to cooperate when faced with insurmountable hurdles. Thus, the theme of this conference, Unbreakable Unity Through Crisis.
You are connecting online and in the streets, showing the power of collective action. The pandemic has created a moment for change. Recovery is our chance to shape a better future, and the Sustainable Development Goals are our roadmap.
Your generation have a voice, and you must make every effort to be heard and win the hearts and minds of those that can make an impact at a policy level. I want to share a poem that is close to me and I hope will inspire you. This is a few words by Rumi. Raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. Now, these are the very qualities and characteristic traits that Mr. E.A.MUNC, who this conference named after and in honor of, imbibed in every aspect of his life. To start with a noble purpose to serve the people of his constituency, state, and country with integrity. He served the people that needed it the most with a collaborative, cooperative diplomacy through dialogue and action. May his soul rest in peace and his legacy live on.
We are honored with presence of so many luminaries with us. And if I start naming all of them, I will have to do it the whole evening. The intention of E.A.MUNC Model United Conference is to ensure that our child takes up the leadership and comes into the leadership position when they come out of their school and when they work towards their life. We feel that every child is a success by himself. We only request them is to appreciate the gifts they have got and have the feeling of giving it to the generations of people who deserves it.
With a holistic view that includes not just the betterment of all humans, but betterment of the Earth as one planet hosting millions of species, is through collaboration. We need to involve all stakeholders and communicate and collaborate and bring about a collective approach, engaging the leaders and the public, the young and old, the wealthy and the poor, all coming together across generations, continents, boundaries, to create a new and a better world.
I declare the second virtual E.A.MUNC Model United Nations Conference in session.
Thank you, sir.
I'm very happy to be part of this valedictory function of the E.A.MUNC Model United Nations Conference. Congratulations, the number of schools and students growing year after year. That's a befitting tribute to Ahmed Sahib, who served the nation till its last breaths. Various capacities. Minister of State Affairs, he represented the maximum number, represented India in the United Nations. And I am sure that we will all remember his service with gratitude, and I wish his son, Mr. Rais Ahmed, continue this legacy in the years to come. Wish you once again good take-home experience to all of you, and further joining these conferences whenever it happens in the next year. I too miss that physical meeting, but given the pandemic situations, this is organized by the Indian School Al Gobra, and I congratulate the principal and the team. This challenging task in the pandemic period, and I wish all of you the very best.
In a world in which all problems are global, there is no way countries can handle issues by themselves. We need global responses.
The Russian Federation stands for peace and will support any reasonable suggestion, act or decision.
Everybody goes through difficult times, but it is those who push improve the personality development of students. The research, interaction and debates will give different ideologies of the countries around the world. The dialogue and debates will give the delegates a diplomatic experience. Hope all this pandemic will go after the successful drive of vaccination in our countries. And hope the 7th session of E.A.MUNC Model United Nations Conference will be in campus. Thank you.
Also, lastly, the first point, the laws regarding their own safety, was given by the delegate of Afghanistan. It deserves to be in the education part and not in the health part, because that's where we are going to be educating them about their legal rights.
I agree with the delegate of Afghanistan for the first clause to be shifted under the section of education.
It will also reduce your workload if you have a better understanding and you know where you're going, and it's to your consent that yes, I would like to go here and I'll be okay if I go there.
I'm very pleased that Indian School Al Gubra is hosting the second virtual E.A.MUNC this year too. We thought it would not be possible during these rather difficult times, but once again, my colleagues and the children have proved me wrong, and here we are hosting the second virtual E.A.MUNC this year. There are many schools participating, there are many delegates from various places, and I'm very, very thankful to all the heads of school whose students are participating as delegates at this E.A.MUNC. Thank you very much for allowing your students to participate in our Model United Nations Conference. My gratitude to Mrs. Malika Ariwala, our MUN coordinator, to many of my colleagues who are also part of the organizing team of this MUNC, the two vice principals, Mr. G. Srikumar and Mrs. Pyarija Sidar, and of course the man who heads it all, our president, Mr. Ahamed Rais, who is the chairman of E.A.MUNC. I'm sure this is going to be a very successful conference where some very interesting topics are going to be discussed at the various committees, and we hope that it will all be a wonderful learning experience for all the delegates. Congratulations to all and good luck to all of you. I hope you have a wonderful time at this conference.
It's indeed a proud moment. Even during these challenging times, our students have worked together for an event which will definitely mold them into independent thinkers and confident leaders. My best wishes for the success of E.A.MUNC 2021. Thank you.
The delegate of Slovenia, this would actually come under one of the other subtopics, which is at the youth.
The second session of WHO is now called to order. We will start with a roll call.
We've spoken about for how much time they're going to have to study, and I mentioned how it's going to be both an offline and an online. Right now, because of COVID, it's going to be only online.
Life's best lessons seem to be learned at the worst times. It is when our capabilities are challenged that we forget our differences, stand together, and bring out the best in us. Through intense debating and discussion over the past 2 days, I hope the participants of the second virtual E.A.MUNC have emerged stronger and resilient in their thoughts and ideas. I also hope that the exchange of ideas facilitates these leaders of tomorrow to do their best to see that there is unbreakable unity through crisis, always, everywhere. Thank you.
E.A.MUNC Model United Nations Conference offers an interesting perspective on the spirit of cooperation and contemporary geopolitical issues. It helps to develop team spirit and make the delegates aware that the earth we have inherited from our forefathers is in urgent need of revival. I encourage you to take the new insights found at E.A.MUNC and put them to good use at home in a way that can benefit people at the local, national, or even international level. Hoping to see you, young diplomats, at UN in future, helping to make the world a better place for humanity. Thank you.
We are extremely pleased and happy that you could all join us for the 6th edition of E.A.MUNC Model United Nations Conference. We enjoyed having you, and I hope you all enjoyed the participation in this conference. These are special times, And during special times, I know that you're all out trying to help to make life easier for your brethren. Keep doing good job, and see you all for the 7th edition soon. Thank you very much.
Up next is a classical dance performance by the students of ISG in the traditional South Indian dance form of Bharatnatyam.
धीम्तान धीम्तान धीरनान धीना धीम्तान धीम्तान धीरनान धीना धीम्तान धीम्तान धीरनान धीना धीम्तान धीम्तान धीरनन धीर धीरना सजम सजम तनदान धीरना सजम सजम तनदान धीरना सजम सजम तनदान धीरना सजम सजम तनदान धीरना तकिटतोम तकिटतोम तकदिनितोम तो तकिटतोम तकिटतोम तकदिनितोम तो
We will now commence with the valedictory ceremony to recognize the efforts of the delegates who have excelled in their respective committees. I now request Rachel Mary Bobby, President of Historical Security Council, to begin the valedictory function.
Greetings to one and all. I am Rachel Bobby, the President of the Historical Security Council. It was an honor for us, the Bureau, to watch each delegate debate, actively engage in the council sessions, and aim to achieve consensus in a short period. The delegates enthusiastically debated on the topic at hand, the Libyan war. They put forth interesting suggestions to combat this crisis, including but not limited to recognizing the need for the critical medical aid requirements, establishing refugee camps for Libyan refugees, and stressing to activate UN support mission in Libya. I hope all the delegates had a memorable and, most importantly, an educational conference. I would also like to thank my fellow Bureau members, Vice President Alvin K. Jose and Rapporteur Zainab Hussain, to help us have smooth and effective council sessions. Moving on, I would like to announce the awards for the Historical Security Council. The verbal mentions in no particular order go to Herschel Narona from Indian School Al Mabela, Nandini Mukherjee from Gokhale Memorial Girls School, Beatrice Benoy from Indian School Al Gubra, Samarth Pujari from Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir International, Aditya Sujit from Indian School Al Buraimi. The Best Position Paper Award goes to Nandini Jalan from Welham Girls School. The Diplomacy Awards in no particular order go to Pavan Sundar from Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir, Shubham Rao from Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir, Prabir Sandhu from Vidya Niketan Birla Public School, Avnish Shah from Sindhya Kanya Vidyalaya. The Outstanding Diplomacy Award goes to Pranav Liju from Indian School Sohar. Congratulations to all the delegates. Wishing you all the very best in your future conferences. Thank you.
We were all here this weekend to represent our country, push ourselves in debate, and pass good resolutions. But although our success in these things is important to us, I would like to take a few minutes to talk about not success, but failure. Failure is the path to success, is an old saying, but it holds true even in today's modern and fast-paced world. Some argue that failure is essential for gaining success in life, while others believe that one can be highly successful without going through this phase. Failure helps domesticate the goodness of strength, recognizing your obstacle and your strengths, and encouraging you to trade your strategy. Good evening. My name is Jay Bhagat, and I'm the president of SOCUM, which is the Social, Cultural, and Humanitarian Committee. The topic of my committee was medical access in low-income and low-resource countries, and I'm proud to announce that my committee has been successful in writing and passing Resolution 1.1 by general consensus. For this, I would like to thank the Secretary General Aditya Sharma, Director General Sharma Mumbai, the faculty advisors, and my fellow bureau members, the Vice President Alisha Amjad, the Rapporteur Drishti Joshi, and also the delegates who worked tirelessly throughout the conference. I would like to congratulate my committee on a successful conference and wish them the best of luck in their future endeavors. Moving on, I would like to announce the awards. The verbal mentions in no particular order go to NVS Prasid Shashank of Hyderabad Public School, Abhinav Ganesh Kumar of Indian School Al Gubra International, Mary Martha Sazi of St. Andrews, Nayatri Devi Prasad Vyas of Indian School Baushar. The Best Position Paper Award goes to Hansini Chetan Salian of Indian School Sohar. The Diplomacy Awards in no particular order go to Bhavik Dabra of Vidya Niketan Birla Public School, Sri Renga Harini of Indian School Baushar, Tess Anderson of Palmer Trinity School. And the Outstanding Diplomacy Award goes to Avani Jindal of Welham Girls. Thank you and congratulations to all the winners and delegates.
A very good evening to one and all. I am Vinayak Ram Subramanian, and I served as the president of the UNEP at this conference. I would like to thank the Secretary General, the Director General, and my fellow Bureau members, Vice President Amrita Ravi and Rapporteur Sneha Joyce for their support and coordination in organizing a smooth and educational conference. The delegates of the UNEP showed outstanding debating skill and diplomacy, and after a fruitful and comprehensive debate, the UNEP has adopted Resolution 1.0 by consensus. The committee has addressed issues on various topics, including urban management, waste disposal measures, rainwater harvesting, and sustainable development goals. It is imperative to remember that participation in this conference is an important step in the right direction, and I wish you all a successful MUN career ahead. Now it is time to announce the awards that everyone has been in keen anticipation for. The verbal mentions in no particular order go to Ananya Karnik, Pathway World School Aravali, Dhia Thomas, Beacon House School Muscat, Devan Sharaf, Indian School Al Gubra, and Yubasana Kapas, Gokhale Memorial High School. The Best Position Paper Award goes to Farida Mazhar, Indian School Barsha. The Diplomacy Award, in no particular order, go to Archie Kanduja, Welham Girls School, Varun Santosh, Indian School Al-Wadi Al-Kabir, Sneha Singh, Indian School Al Gubra International, and Aditi Guru, Indian School Al Gubra. The Outstanding Diplomacy Award goes to Pratinav Puvada, Hyderabad Public School. Thank you and congratulations to all the delegates.
Good evening to everyone present here. My name is Sujanya Sriram, and it has been an honor to serve as the president of the World Health Organization for E.A.MUNC Model United Nations Conference 2021. To say that the last 3 days have been an enriching and beautiful learning experience would be an understatement. At the onset, I would like to thank our Secretariat for giving me this opportunity. I am extremely grateful and will forever be in your debt. Second, I would like to thank my wonderful Vice President, Tana Aisha, and Rapporteur, Nabira Parker, for their unwavering support and dedication. This conference could only be a success because of your help and guidance. And finally, a huge thank you to the delegates for teaching me and my bureau so many lessons and values. You have shown that the future of our world is in the hands of an empowered youth who will not take no for an answer. No matter what the results are, I hope you take away new experiences, friends, and knowledge from this conference. And now, the most awaited moment. Here are the awards for WHO. The verbal mentions, in no particular order, go to Aira Amit Malhotra of Indian School Al Gubra International, Azan Pari of Indian School Al Gubra, Prashit Jain of Tulas International School, and Kushagra Garg of Vidya Niketan Birla Public School. The Best Position Paper Award goes to Adya Dinesh of Indian School Sohar. The Diplomacy Award, in no particular order, goes to Adishri Santosh of Indian School Al Gubra International, Anish Seth of Indian School Al Gubra, Taranjot Kaur of Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir, and Harnoor Kaur of Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir International. And the Outstanding Diplomacy Award goes to Anjana Parliament of NPS RNR Hyderabad. Congratulations to all of you. We wish you all the very best for your future conferences. Thank you.
Good evening, delegates and faculty advisors. Due to a technical glitch, I will be delivering the message of Anoushka Madhavi, President UNHRC, and declaring the awards. I, Anoushka Madhavi, have indeed found it a pleasure serving as the President of the United Nations Human Rights Council in the second virtual E.A.MUNC 2021. I thank UNHRC's Vice President Riddhi Singh and Rapporteur Aaron Saju for their persistent support and dedication. I also wish to acknowledge the delegates of this committee for portraying the qualities of diplomacy and proficiency throughout the conference. I am very grateful to have got the opportunity to preside over a committee of such vigor and enthusiasm. Each delegate upheld their country's policy on COVID-19 vaccines and at-risk demographics and actively participated in the discourse on the same. I am proud to announce that UNHRC has been able to adopt Resolution 1.1 as the direct result of each and every delegate's hard work. I hope that this conference has inspired people to create change and work towards a better world. Now, it gives me immense delight to announce the award winners of our committee. The verbal mentions, in no particular order, go to Madhav Sunil Vishnu of Indian School Al Gubra International, Manasi Mudgal of Sindhya Kanya Vidyalaya, Ashwika Soni of Pathways World School Aravali, Pradyuman Shroff of Hyderabad Public School. The Best Position Paper Award goes to Inora Das Gupta of Sindhya Kanya Vidyalaya. The Diplomacy Awards in no particular order go to Aqidat Khanam of Indian School Al Gubra International, Tanishka Goel of Indian School Nizwa, Sadhana Padmanabhan of Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir, Sanjana K. Praveen of Indian School Al Gubra. The Outstanding Diplomacy Award goes to Lail Alva of Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir. Congratulations to all the delegates. We now have a very special award to recognize the efforts of the Bureau and delegates over the past 3 days, the Best Committee Award. To announce this, I invite the Secretary General, Aditya Sharma.
All right, delegates, it is now time to reward the committees. The Best Committee Award goes to Social, Cultural, and Humanitarian Committee. Hold on, delegates. Due to committee sessions being so well held, we have one more committee to declare as the best committee. Thus, the Best Committee Award also goes out to Historical Security Council. Congratulations to both the committees. A hearty congratulations to all the delegates who participated in the conference. Each of you is a winner. May I request Mr. Ahamed Rais, President of School Management Committee and Chairman of E.A.MUNC, to declare the second virtual session of the E.A.MUNC closed.
I declare the 6th edition of the second virtual E.A.MUNC Model United Nations Conference closed.
Thank you, sir. May I request the Secretary General, Aditya Sharma, to propose the vote of thanks.
A very good evening to the assembly of distinguished guests, cherished delegates, and valued audience. It has been an eventful 3 days in which we delved deep into the challenges faced by the world today to find plausible solutions. It was indeed a richly rewarding experience. We express our deepest gratitude to our esteemed chief guest of the valedictory ceremony, His Excellency Venu Rajmani, for gracing the occasion with his presence. Sir, you have raised the profile and prestige of the event. It was an honor and privilege for us to listen to your experiences in the field of diplomacy. It has left a deep impact on the delegates. Our sincere gratitude goes out to Mr. Mohiuddin Muhammad Ali, the chief guest of the opening ceremony. His presence motivated us to make the best use of the opportunity given to us to mold ourselves into worthy global citizens. We are immensely grateful to Dr. Baby Sam Samuel, guest of honor and keynote speaker of the opening ceremony. His address set the tone of the conference, and the insights he shared guided us throughout. With grateful hearts, we mention our founder, Dr. P. Muhammad Ali, whose vision to make the educational experience of students a rich and multidimensional one has led to the organization of events such as the E.A.MUNC. We are immensely grateful to Mr. Suresh Virmani, who has contributed greatly to the betterment of Indian schools in Muscat, and Mr. C.P. Kuni Muhammad of JDT Islam High School, India, for gracing the event with their presence. A heartfelt gratitude goes out to Mr. Ahamed Rais, the President of the School Managing Committee and the Chairman of E.A.MUNC. It is his thoughtful inputs, his eye for detail, and his constant guidance and support which has made this event a grand success. I would also like to thank Mr. Sunil Katakat, convener SMC ISG, and members of the School Management Committee for their support and encouragement. We thank the principals and the faculty advisors of the school who attended the conference for their efforts in guiding the delegates. A very big thank you to Team E.A.MUNC, guided by Mrs. Papri Ghosh, Principal of ISG. The unflagging energy and hard work of the team has led to the success of the event. On behalf of the delegates of E.A.MUNC Model United Nations Conference, I would like to thank each and every member for providing us a plethora of opportunities to cultivate and nourish ingenuity, leadership skills, mental agility, and for building in us the confidence to seek solutions to complex global issues. Thank you to each and every delegate who attended this conference. Your enthusiastic participation has made it an event to remember.
We have now come to the end of the valedictory ceremony and the second virtual E.A.MUNC Model United Nations Conference. Thank you all. Stay safe and connected. See you at the next E.A.MUNC session. Good night.